Okay, these two get the death penalty in any country. I don't care what the rules are there. They're actually menacing. Hello and welcome to Ranking the Punishment for Cartoon Characters' Crimes. And we aren't talking about any Joe Schmoes here. We're talking about SpongeBob, Mordecai and Rigby, Rick, Mr. Krabs, and so many others. But the main reason I'm making this video is to honor Cartoon Network as it shut down after 30 years. Not all of those characters you're ranking are from Cartoon Network show.
Man, shut your bitch.
Starting off with a slap on the wrist, we got my boy SpongeBob. I mean, what did this guy ever do wrong? Like, other than the odd case of manslaughter, kidnapping, and arson. Oh my god, you shouldn't be down here. You need to put away. Hey, he's getting away! Next up we got Gumball and Darwin, and the first thing to get clear is that these two are still technically mine, so we can't charge them as harshly on whatever they do. In the episode The Friend, Gumball is trying to make Alan the balloon get mad because he's like too nice or something. But what does Gumball do? This guy sold Alan's parents to a clown and made him watch them get manhandled. I honestly still kind of get chills watching this. I don't know how it was allowed on Cartoon Network. Not to mention the time Gumball just non-alives a parking warden and watches his insides pour out. Darwin also ate a potato in front of a sentient potato, so does that count as some sort of offense? I don't know, they never really make that clear in cartoons. Seeing as the two live in California, I'll judge by the laws there for how long they go away, and my search history is going to look really dodgy after this one. Okay, so seeing as Gumball kidnapped two balloons, which can only be 2 to 5 days old if they're still floating, and Gumball is 12 years old, we'll count that as child abduction. He also committed manslaughter, which is 11 years, so adding that all up, Gumball would get 19 years in juvenile. Darwin is an accomplice most of the time, so he'll get 11 years. Now we've got Rick from Rick and Morty, and there's not really any point in doing this one, because if you've seen the show, then you'll know he commits multiple crimes every episode. I don't blame you if you haven't watched it, since the show's fan base is AIDS, so for this one I'll just put him in get out of jail free card tier, since he's friends with the president so he can't go to jail. Moving on from this schmuck, we got Mordecai and Rigby, the GOATs of Cartoon Network, and if anyone says different, they're wrong. I love Mordecai and Rigby, but even I know that these two were menaces. Like that one time they set the destroyer of worlds free because they didn't want to set up the chairs for a birthday party. Every time they do something like this, which is pretty much every episode, the park gets destroyed, and this counts as destruction of property, which is punishable by 10 years in prison. But this isn't even the tip of the iceberg with these two, so I'm gonna go over a list of all the devious acts committed by these toothy goobers. Mordecai impales cashier. Mordecai unalives Rigby. Mordecai and Rigby trespass camping site. They regularly commit unlawful action. Mordecai unalives Rigby again in the regular show movie, and fraudulent imitation of a trusted brand and product. With all of this, we can calculate that Mordecai would be going away for life and Rigby 11 years. Everybody's favorite crustacean, Eugene Krabs. This guy had the hustler mindset before the hustler mindset was a thing. He only had one goal in mind, and you know what that was?
Money.
But to get his money, Mr. Krabs had to go through some pretty dark paths. So Plankton opens his restaurant, the Chum Bucket, for 23 hours a day. And Mr. Krabs, being the absolute top G of the ocean, would not allow this. So what does he do? He opens a Krusty Krab for 24 hours a day, with no breaks, driving SpongeBob and Squidward insane. And on top of all of this, we know Mr. Krabs barely pays his workers.
What is this? You're making me pay you to stand at the cash register?
So for all of this, I'd say we give Mr. Krabs a $10,000 fine. And speaking of SpongeBob characters, we've got this absolute psychopath, the chocolate guy. This dude fully started screaming at SpongeBob and Patrick just for trying to sell some chocolate. Yeah, Gary V would not approve.
I support the original hustle, you know what I mean?
And although he was just trying to buy the chocolate, this is still antisocial behaviour. So I'd say this is 5 years in prison. Speaking of shows with yellow protagonists, we got The Simpsons, and more particularly Homer Simpson. And with 731 episodes, let's just say this guy has committed a lot of crimes over the time. I'm gonna sound like Eminem seeing all of these, but let's go. Framing piracy, kidnapping, cannibalism, drunk driving, racism, hit and run, child abuse, burglary, manslaughter, murder, animal cruelty. 2 life sentences for Homer. And going even further back in time, we got Tom and Jerry, arguably the 2 most iconic cartoon characters ever, known for influencing children to bash their siblings' heads in. Mainly Jerry though, because this guy was living inside of Tom's house forever without paying any sort of rent. I mean, it's kind of justified for why Tom was actually trying to catch him in the first place. Living inside of someone's house is a federal offense, and you can get 10 years in prison for doing it. Oh, but what about all the times Tom tried to kill Jerry? Mate, that's just self-defense. Steven Universe, the only crime this guy committed was being the biggest wet wipe in the universe. This guy was crying every episode. If he went to prison, he wouldn't last an hour before combusting. It's Ben 10. Now, me personally, I never really saw the OG show. I just watched the reboot, which was not very good. The new Ben 10 is going into prison for life, no questions needed, and any of the previous ones can walk away, they're fine. You can't just let them walk away free from any crime just because they're from a well-loved show, you idiot. I'm leaving this video.
Bring the bike back.
Sorry, buddy. No can do.
My video, my channel, my platform.
I mean, what's really bizarre is the fact you get no bitches.
You've gone too for hand.
I know this one's a bit of a cliche since he's had so many cartoons, but Batman. The saying Batman doesn't kill is taken very loosely in his pieces of media. Some dude will do something like jaywalking and Batman will emerge from the shadows and rearrange their spine. And Gotham is based off of state of New Jersey, so we'll judge by the laws there. So assault is up to 6 months, and seeing as this guy's been doing it for 30 years, he goes away for a long time. Goodbye. The Ice King. Bro kidnapped the princess every episode and kept them in his prison. Not to mention the time he literally dropped Princess Bubblegum into a vat of acid. At least he's better than EDP.
He's 13 years old now.
Oh, dang it! Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
But I mean, he's only evil with the crown on, and in the end, he did apologize to everyone, so let my man be. Fine. I've always had a grudge against this guy. I always thought he was annoying when I watched the show, not to mention the countless real crimes he's actually committed. But all of those aside, there's one main one. Being the most overrated show on Cartoon Network. And finally, the two biggest menaces. Phineas and Ferb. These aren't children. These are not children. Just look at them. He's got a Dorito head. These guys were putting children in danger every episode. I don't care if they're super geniuses. They can go to jail. Alright, bye.